Hello my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa Samina and welcome to the fam. You guys, I took a 3-day break from YouTube and it somehow felt like it's been 3 years. Honestly, it feels like it's been forever. I can't even describe like how weird it is to not be filming. So I wanted to take a little bit of time off because it was my birthday and just to like cleanse and detox a little bit from social media, because regardless of the fact that my channel is such a positive, amazing space, you know, there is still negativity on the internet and on social media, and that's just a fact. So I took a couple days off just, you know, for my mental sanity, but I'm back now and the queen of the unicorns is ready to continue creating readings. So you guys, today's reading is a highly requested one. You guys have been telling me to do career/business readings, and that is exactly what today's reading is about. So today I have 4 groups prepared for you, and these 4 groups are all about your career/your business for the rest of 2019. So I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. So regarding the 4 groups, we have the Amazonite, we have the Pyrite, we have the Garnet, as well as the Sugilite. You guys, it's so hot in here. Like, I low-key took a 3-day break because it's just been too hot to film, honestly. But yeah, you guys, if you need a minute to meditate on the 4 groups, then feel free to pause this video right here in order to do so. As you guys know, the timestamps are down below in the description box, so you can just open that up and fast forward to your corresponding timestamp to see the reading that you've chosen. And as usual, I just want to let you know that there's no shame in the multiple groups game. So if you feel drawn to multiple groups, then feel free to tune into multiple readings, because your perfect mixture of a reading may be between 2 groups, maybe 3 groups. It's completely up to you and what you naturally feel drawn to. Oh, right, and you guys, I almost forgot that I wanted to thank you all so much for the amazing love, for the hundreds of birthday wishes that I got on my birthday. Like, I was baffled in my last video. All of you guys wished me the most amazing day, and that is truly what made it the most amazing day. Like, I can't even explain how joyful I was and how much love I felt, and just like how special you guys really made my birthday. So I would just like to thank each and every one of you who is here on my channel supporting me. I just like don't even know what to say. Just thank you guys. So make sure that if you enjoyed this video that you give it a thumbs up, and also if you're new to my channel, make sure that you tune into 1 or 2 of my readings to figure out if they resonate with you. So yeah guys, my pre-reading chat is done right here. I'm going to get straight into the readings with the first group, which corresponds to the Amazonite. Welcome to your reading, group number 1. So you chose the Amazonite. So group number 1, first and foremost, a few words about why you may have chosen this stone. If you have been on my channel before, you know that I always let you know what the actual reason may be behind the fact that you felt drawn to this stone, aside from just its optical beauty, aside from it just looking really beautiful. So the Amazonite is for anybody who needs to let their inner child speak, so to say, and anybody who struggles with Mercury retrograde. So if you feel like you struggle with the Mercury retrograde, or you feel like there are things that you're not allowing yourself to want just because you feel like, oh, I'm too old for that, I'm a grown-up, I should think more realistically, or just somehow be a bit more mature, this may be why you've chosen this stone. So group number 1, I have this strong sense that business, as well as, you know, your career, is something that you need to take with a little bit more lightness, with a little bit more fun. Don't be so hard on yourself, and don't feel so obligated to be mature or a grown-up, if you know what I mean. But let's move further into your reading, group number 1, to figure out what's really going on for you in your career and your business in 2019. Okay, so group number 1, we have Vesta, we have the 10 of Cups, we have the 4 of Swords, we have the Dragonfly, we have the Amazonite, as already mentioned, we have Self-Reliance, we have the 9 of Pentacles, the 2 of Pentacles, as well as Aquarius. So group number 1, let's get straight into your reading about your career for the rest of 2019. So in Aquarius, I see very strong-willed energy. I see energy that did not come to play or to be emotional at the workplace. So one thing that I definitely see is a little bit of a hardened you, a little bit of a you that isn't here for sob stories and isn't here for excuses. I see that you're very much focused on your grind, and that is what is at the center of the rest of 2019 for you. So I definitely feel like, you know, it may be sort of like a balancing act, as I can see in the 2 of Pentacles, but sort of balancing, your family life as well as your work life may be something that makes you feel like you have to stretch a little further than you're comfortable with. But know that, you learn to get comfortable in those stretches, if you will. Just think of, for instance, a ballerina. A ballerina does not start out as a ballerina. Ballerina does not start out super flexible and capable of just whipping her leg 180 degrees right up there in the air. No, like you need to practice. A ballerina needs to practice flexibility, needs to train strength, etc. And the same thing goes for you and the balance between your work life as well as your family life. So know that work and family life usually goes well together when you make it sort of one, when you don't make that distinct difference between this is fun family time and this is treacherous work time. So make sure that you give things sort of like a very lighthearted note. Make sure that you're not too serious. And also if you sort of feel like this job is not 100% for you because your work and your family life is something so completely separate for you, know that maybe it would be healthier for you to figure out a way to align your work with your family life and just basically life in general, so you don't have two such polar opposites in your life. So moving further into your reading in the Nine of Pentacles, I see a form of luxury, a form of material abundance, material gain. So know that for the rest of 2019 in your work life and your career, I definitely see it being a prosperous rest of the year. I definitely see it being a rest of the year where you probably make more money than you usually do, where you probably are able to develop your business a lot further than in the first half of this year. And just generally, I see this air of luck. So maybe you'll finally be able to get yourself that luxury car, that luxury item, or your business to the next level where it's, a lot bigger than it used to be. And that sort of gives you this feeling of having the luxury to lean back a little bit and relax. So definitely incorporate, your lighthearted ways that the Amazonite would like you to incorporate. Make sure that you make that a part of the journey. Don't be so hard on yourself, and know that you have to continue living life to the fullest, because if you don't do that, it's going to definitely strain your relationships. But I can see in the Ten of Cups, on your relationship side, it seems that you're kind of going to be able to deal with everything. You're going to be able to work out this balance that we had in the Two of Pentacles. You're going to be able to build the strength and the flexibility to handle everything. As you know, the Ten of Cups stands for a very fulfilled emotional state. It stands for, your relationships going very well and your relationships being healthy. So that is definitely something that I see for the rest of 2019. It could also be that your relationship in your workplace is just, gaining sort of strength and moving to a point where you feel very increased trust and a stronger bond. So I definitely see that you have to not only live life to the fullest, but embrace your relationships to the fullest. While in self-reliance, I see that in your career, in business, don't be afraid to fly solo. Don't be afraid to do your own thing, to start your own business, and also to just think how you want to think. You don't need to be in agreement with coworkers or with your family when it comes to your business or your work. It's okay to fly solo. It's okay to be self-reliant, and be self-reliant even if you have that 9-to-5, because people say a 9-to-5 is stability, and a 9-to-5 is not really stability, because any day that business that you're working in could all of a sudden face a situation where they're in financial trouble and they need to let people go. Or your boss may wake up one day and just decide they need to cut costs. And that could affect you in a horrible way. So know that being self-reliant is not only basically doing what you feel is right for you when it comes to your business and your job, it's also being able to set up multiple streams of revenue so that no matter which one dries up or no matter which one may dip south, you're not going to be left with absolutely nothing. So I definitely see in self-reliance you saving a little bit more money, saving in a way that is smarter, cutting down on eating out, on getting Starbucks, on buying things that you don't really need, and also, really starting that second stream of revenue, maybe that third stream of revenue, and setting yourself up in a way that if anything happens, you're not going to be in a situation of complete distress. So group number one, moving further into your reading, Investa. Vesta stands for basically the goddess within. Vesta is your spiritual center, and I see that that is something that is going to be important in business. And you may think to yourself, why is that important? Why is that something that is coming up in my business or career reading? Well, it's very essential for you to know that business is something that works really well when you use your intuition a lot. So in the Four of Swords, I definitely see time to develop your intuition and develop your understanding of your intuition is something that would help you immensely in business. And just taking time also a little bit away from emails, from the internet, to just relax, taking that vacation is something that I see as very beneficial for your work life for the rest of 2019. So definitely know that embracing the goddess within, embracing your spiritual side has everything to do with your work, because you spend a lot of time of your life that you won't get back is at your work. So make sure that you enjoy it. Make sure that you still feel that even when you're working, that you're living life to the fullest. As I can see in the dragonfly, that may be something that you have to optimize. That may be something that you're maybe missing, or is in place, but you have to embrace it more. So group number 1, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading about your career for the rest of 2019. So you chose the Pyrite. So group number 2, if you're not new to my channel, then you know how this goes. First and foremost, I let you know why you may have chosen this mineral, aside from the fact that it may have been physically attractive to you. So the Pyrite is for anybody who needs more masculine energy in their life, or for fellas who need to activate a little bit more stamina, if you know what I mean. And this stone is also for anybody who is chronically lethargic, who is a constant dreamer, but doesn't actually, put action behind it. So group number 2, the reason why you may have chosen the stone is maybe because you have to optimize your health, because chronic lethargy is something that can truly affect your life in many ways that are not optimal. Or, you may have also chosen this stone because you need to stop daydreaming and putting plans in place in order to start achieving. But let's move further into your reading about your career for the rest of 2019 in order to figure out what's really going on. Okay, so group number 2, we have the Virgo, we have the 7 of Cups, we have the 9 of Cups, we have letting go, we have the Pyrite, as already mentioned, we have the Illusion, the Ace of Cups, the King of Swords, as well as the 2nd house. So group number 2, I want to get straight into your reading. So first and foremost, I see Virgo energy. So you don't have to be a Virgo, but that is something that surrounds your career. And I can see in the 2nd house, your assets, your finances, things that you value have everything to do with this Virgo energy. So Virgo energy is very diligent energy. It's energy that is hardworking, and the Virgo is somebody who will go over something a million times to get it right and to get it perfect. So know that that sort of meticulous energy, that detail-oriented energy is something that will serve you for your career for the rest of 2019. So maybe prior to this half of 2019, you have been a little sloppy, or you feel like you could have put more sort of things in place in order for you to do your work better, like for instance checklists, journaling, just making sure that things are all flowing the way they should, but you've been procrastinating or you've been too lazy to do it. So I definitely see that for the rest of 2019 you're going to buckle up, you're going to start getting things done. And in the 2nd house, I see that things in the earthly realms, things financially, your assets, everything that you value is going to be able to flourish, and you're going to be rewarded a lot quicker for these little changes than you thought. And that is in turn going to make you think, why did I ever procrastinate, or why did I ever self-sabotage my own financial success? So know that as soon as you learn to use this Virgo energy, as soon as you realize that it's best to be hardworking and diligent and maybe a little bit of a perfectionist, that is when the blessings are going to start pouring into your life. So moving further into your reading, I definitely see in Illusion that there may be some sort of temptation. So group number 2, I definitely see in Illusion that there will come a time in the rest of 2019 where you're going to have to embrace the truth, where something that was not truthful, something that was not the way it was supposed to be, is actually going to come to light, and it may come as a shock to you. So I can see in the 7 of Cups that This has everything to do with something looking better than it is. So it could be a business opportunity. It could also be a relationship. You know, we do have the cups, which is all things surrounding your relationships and your heart, your feelings. So know that this may be something that comes in the way of you and your money making abilities. So this could be a relationship where you feel like it's the right thing, it is the right partner that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, but it ends up actually just having been time that I wouldn't say was wasted, but time spent with somebody who may have not completely revealed who they are. And if you would have known who they are, you would have reacted differently, or you would have acted in general differently. So group number 2, I definitely want you to be wary of that, especially in the emotional realms, and know that there is a reason why you tuned into this reading. There is a reason why the universe wanted you to see this reading, and it may be to protect you from getting too deep down into that, because this did show up in your career reading, this temptation in the emotional realms. So it may affect your career, and that is something that you don't want. So regardless of what goes on within your relationships or your love life, make sure that you still stay focused when it comes to work. Don't allow anybody to tear your focus away from your work. So moving further into your reading, I can see in letting go that you have to let go of anything that doesn't serve you, especially when it comes to your work. So as I already mentioned, procrastination is a killer, okay? It is something that can stop you from achieving your dreams, that can slow your roll, and just overall put you in a headspace where you're not very productive and where things just aren't really flowing. So learn to let go of that and learn to start a new emotional beginning. Don't beat yourself up for the procrastination that you've done up until this point, because that is something very common to be beating yourself up about. Oh, I haven't done this yet. Oh, you know, like this pile of things that I need to do is this high, and if I would have just done it sooner, then things would have been better. And those are all thoughts, and those are all things that you need to keep far away from you. Have a new start emotionally and celebrate all the successes, whether they're big or small. So in the 9 of Cups, I definitely see that celebration is something that is important. You have to put successes in business on a little pedestal in order to attract more success. So take the law of attraction for your advantage. You know, use the law of attraction for advantage, and know that you emotionally being at a state where no matter how big or little successes, you still celebrate it. That is something that will attract more abundance. So know that the 2nd house is here for you, because, you know, the 2nd house is all about material things, all about things that you value, material things that show that you exist because you own things. So know that that is something that is activated for the rest of 2019, and I don't want you to miss out on everything that you will be able to manifest and attract just with the law of attraction. So in the King of Swords, I see that energy here is needed that is masculine, as already mentioned in the Pyrite, energy that is phallic, energy of you going out there saying exactly what you want, and that being that either people are going to take it or leave it. Don't negotiate too much is what I'm trying to say. Don't try and negotiate something that you feel is not completely where it's supposed to be, all just because you're trying to keep this illusion up, or all just because, you know, somebody has put this suspiciously good deal in front of you and you sort of just want to make it work. Don't allow that to happen. You know, be very upfront and be very sharp with your words. Let somebody know, you know, if this is not the price that you're giving me, if this is not the wage that you're paying me, if this is not how I'm able to do my work, if this is not how the contract is going to be laid out, then I'm not doing it. And you will be surprised at how quickly you can notice when somebody has not been telling the truth in the first place, and also how easily you can actually get other people to meet you halfway by just saying what it is that you want. So if it is time for you to get a raise, if it is time for you to start a new part of your business where you have to negotiate prices, if you're self-employed, you know, you may have to negotiate on prices, let people know exactly what you want, how you want it done. Or like I said, if you're negotiating, you know, a new wage for yourself, you have to speak up. If you don't speak up for yourself, nobody will. And it's important for you to let people know that you value yourself and that you know that you're valuable and you know your worth. So ask for what you're worth. Never be afraid to do so, because once you speak into the universe that you're worthy, you will in return manifest situations and things that match up with your worth. So group number 2, that is the reading that I received for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 3, and welcome to your reading about your career for the rest of 2019. So group number 3, you chose the Garnet. So first and foremost, if you have been on my channel before, you know that I let you know why you may have chosen this mineral. So the Garnet is for anyone needing to be able to tell themselves, I've got this, I can do this, there's no reason why I shouldn't. So know that the Garnet is sort of like a stone that tells me that you need to maybe believe in yourself a little more and set your sight, your goal a little higher. Maybe think outside of the box. Think of yourself more highly than you have up until this point. But let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what is going on in your career for the rest of 2019. Okay, so group number 3, in your reading we have the Cancer, we have Cheer Up, we have the Hermit, we have the Chariot, we have the Fool, the Knight of Wands, New Beginnings, as well as Jupiter. So group number 3, what I first and foremost see in your reading about your career for the rest of 2019 is the fact that there are a lot of big milestones that are going to happen in this next part of 2019, and maybe you thought during the first part of 2019 that your career was a little drier than you'd like it to be, or maybe you didn't achieve all the milestones that you thought you should. And that can very much have to do with the fact that indeed, Garnet, I can tell that one thing that you need to start cultivating is this sense of, I've got this, I can do this, I've got it all planned out. Group number 3, definitely start to have more self-belief, start to get more Fool energy into your life starting from today. So the Fool is obviously a card of new beginnings, and that is another card that we have in your reading, you know, new beginnings and just basically starting afresh and not having this preconceived notion of what you're capable of and what not. So know that you decide what you're capable of, but you're also the one who sets obstacles in your way. Write down your thoughts when it comes to obstacles in correlation to your work. So do you feel like in your career, like you have laid obstacles down for yourself, such as not completely believing in yourself, thinking that you can't achieve the goals that you truly would like to achieve, or maybe procrastinating or not doing the work as well as you could just because of self-sabotage's sake? So really think to yourself what it is that you could better when it comes to your career, and make sure that you start off on a fresh note, on a fresh foot that allows you to completely cultivate a new sort of work mentality and a new mentality when it comes to yourself, as I can see that that is something that is super important and where family could also help you. So in the Cancer, I see Cancer energy for you for the rest of 2019 when it comes to your career. So you're going to be very family oriented, and your family may help you cultivate a healthier mindset when it comes to your self-belief in your career. So allow your family to be a part of lifting you up and a part of pushing you, and also know that your family is something that you should be focusing on for the rest of 2019. So don't always put work in front of family. Know that family is invaluable, and you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You never know who's going to fall sick, or who's maybe going to move away, or just not be in a good place tomorrow. So definitely celebrate today. Definitely make sure that you don't pull back too much. Make sure that you don't become too reclusive, as I can see in the Hermit that there is a tendency to spend a lot of time alone. Maybe you're best at work by yourself. Maybe that is how you're the most productive and how you're able to achieve the most, being by yourself, but don't let that transpire into your relationships. So group number 3, I definitely see, you know, very fresh energy. I see new beginnings on the horizons when it comes to your career. And I also see in the Jupiter that, you know, courage, self-belief, luck, all of that goes together very tightly. And you're going to start to notice how self-belief all of a sudden makes you a lot luckier, and all of a sudden makes you a lot more abundant. So definitely start cultivating more confidence when it comes to your work, and it doesn't matter how much experience you have. Know that confidence is key. Even somebody who has decades of experience doing what you're doing, if they don't have the passion as well as the confidence to sort of back up the fact that they are the one who is right for this job, they're not going to be able to succeed no matter how much experience they have. So know that experience is definitely something that is valued in the workforce, but at the same time, there's so much you can do with being this person who is almost a little bit naive to that, who is so confident in their abilities and what it is that they know that they can do, that, you know, it just doesn't faze them and they're an unstoppable force. So definitely, you know, in the Chariot, I see sort of very unstoppable energy. I see that you're going to put your mind to something and you're going to be able to go for it. And you're not going to look left and right at what other people are doing or what other people are saying. You're going to know that in order to succeed, in order to have your career go down the path that you want it to, and to achieve more abundance in the earthly realms, what you need to do is truly just push forward regardless of any obstacles. So push through obstacles and know in the Knight of Wands that creativity is asked of you. In the Knight of Wands, you know, we have very phallic energy. We have energy that is masculine, that requires you to put on sort of like your knight gear and definitely, you know, get that sword and get things done, you know, cut through the thick forest to where you need to go. Be creative when it comes to how you can get on the right path in your career, and just allow creativity to be something that goes along with the Fool, that goes along with you, you know, not having this set idea of what success has to look like, or this set idea of how you're going to get to point B in your career starting from point A. You know, there's so many different ways to point B. It's not always like directly from A to B. Sometimes it's from A to D to B to C to Z, which is all of a sudden amazing. You know what I mean? So be open to different possibilities in your career. Be very open to allowing yourself to do things that you maybe never considered. And in Cheer Up, I see that you have to let yourself lighten up the mood. You have to allow yourself to be in control over your emotions. So don't allow anything that happens at work to control your happiness. Make sure that you stay in control of your happiness, because once you let any sort of outside influence be in control of your happiness, that is when you start to become unhappy, because it's out of your control. And when things are out of your control, you get stressed out. So cheer up when it comes to any sort of failure. Cheer up when it comes to your happiness. Don't give your happiness and that power into somebody or something else's hands, so to say, or don't give up, you know, the fate of your happiness. And make sure that any sort of setbacks, that you don't take them too seriously. Make sure that any setbacks in your career, in what it is that you do for a living, make sure that you learn from setbacks, that you learn from mistakes, and that you allow them to actually be lessons where you're like, wow, I made this mistake, and there are so many other people who did not make this mistake and will not know how to react in this situation in particular in the future. So know that the more mistakes you make, the more you're ahead of the game, because you know exactly what not to do. Meanwhile, you know, other people are still sort of falling into those situations because they have not experienced them yet, because they have not had the privilege to learn yet. So know that making mistakes and being able to learn from them is a privilege that you should be grateful for, and that should be cherished, and that will serve you greatly when it comes to your career for the rest of 2019. So group number 3, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Sugilite. So group number 4, I want to first and foremost speak to you about why you may have chosen the Sugilite. For any of you who have been here before, you know that that is just what I do in my readings. I first explain to you why you may have chosen this mineral, aside from the fact that it is gorgeous, or you resonate with the color, or you know, you just felt like this was the one for you. So the Sugilite is for anybody who needs to exercise that muscle that is called imagination, anybody who needs to stretch beyond limitations that they've set for themselves, and anyone who is going to get to a space that they never even knew existed, or never even thought that they could actually get to. So I definitely see, you know, a lot of interesting energy for your career for the rest of 2019, but let's move further into your reading to figure out what's truly happening. Okay, so group number 4, we have the 11th house, we have potential, we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Nine of Swords, we have the Three of Pentacles, we have Death, we have Confrontation, as well as the Libra. So group number 4, I'm going to get straight into your reading. So first and foremost, what I see for you is an immense amount of potential, and in correlation to the Sugilite, I definitely see that what you need to do is break out of boundaries, and I see that it will be possible for you to do that. As in the Knight of Swords, you know, we have phallic energy, we have energy that is driven, that is pushing forward, and that is unafraid. So definitely, you know, gear up with a lot of courage, with a lot of confidence, and know that, you know, thinking big will allow you to tap into parts of your career and your success that you didn't know were already ready for you. So definitely know that, you know, once you're mentally ready, then things actually start to fabricate into reality, and that is when you actually start to be able to tap into out of the box situations, if you know what I mean. So anything that seemed unreachable up until this point, know that for the rest of 2019 is all of a sudden going to be reachable, or at least a lot closer for you, as soon as you confront fears. So in confrontation, I see that you have to pick your battles wisely. So especially in business, it doesn't make sense to fight every single battle, but know that you also have to confront yourself. So if you feel like you've been undervaluing yourself in your job, maybe you have a 9-to-5 where you just feel like you're underpaid. And if you feel like you're underpaid, you most likely are underpaid, okay? And you need to be honest with yourself. You need to confront yourself and say, hey, working a job where I feel like I'm underpaid and undervalued, just imagine waking up every day, dedicating such a big part of your life just to feel like you're not paid enough, just to feel like you're not valued enough. Imagine what that does in the long run to you emotionally and spiritually, how crushing that is, how much that sort of dims your spirit, your creativity, your potential. So be honest with yourself in order to unlock and unleash even more potential than you could if you were not honest with yourself. So I definitely see a lot of potential for the rest of 2019, but it may also have to do with uncomfortable confrontation. So confront yourself as to, you know, what it is that may be undervaluing you, what it is that may be dimming your vibration, and try and either adjust it or try and figure out a way to get out of it. As I can see in Death, as well as the Nine of Swords, that it's time to let go of those things. You know, in Death, I see that that is a chapter that needs to come to an end. It is a chapter that is inevitably going to close, as you know, you're just not somebody who feels comfortable in that position. You're just not somebody who is meant to be undervalued for the rest of their lives, just basically going with it because they have to. Know that it's so essential for you to see death as a sign that sooner or later this is going to come to an end, so you might as well just make it happen sooner. So if you sort of feel really, really scared of the what ifs, as I can see in the Nine of Swords, that you may have been having nightmares, you may have been worried, you may have thought to yourself, how is my career going to end up putting me in the spot that I've always wanted to be in? You know, maybe you have way greater dreams than what it is that you're doing right now. So I want you not to worry. I want you to know that in the Nine of Swords, these are things that are happening mentally. These are things that have not yet transpired into reality, and you have to confront your fears, and you have to know that fears are one thing, they're fears, but you can also do something. You can change your life. Every single decision that you make can either bring you closer to your goal or further away from your goal. So know that it is in your control, it is in your hands. And if you just feel like, you know, you haven't been dreaming, thinking as big as you could, just because you're either stopping yourself or you're in an environment or around people where you're being undervalued and where you feel like dreams are not really taken seriously, know that it's going to end, okay? There, I see the end of it coming. I see in Death that that is not a situation that you're going to be in forever, and you know, chances are good of you getting out of it in the rest of 2019. In the Three of Pentacles, I see, you know, talking to people is something that will help you in the earthly realms, especially when it comes to your job. So as I already mentioned, you know, if you're working a job or you're doing something where you feel underpaid or undervalued, it is up to you to stand up for yourself and say, this is actually what I'm worth, and I'm going to make sure that I feel valued and that I actually receive what I am worth. And if, you know, employer A or situation B isn't going to provide that for me, then I have to move on, because I need to maintain, my self-belief. I need to continue reminding myself that I have endless potential, and not everybody may see that, but as long as you see your potential, that is all that matters, and that is all that you need in order to be successful and in order to get to your dreams. So definitely know in the Three of Pentacles that consulting other people, maybe actually sending out, applications, dipping your finger, your foot into different sort of ponds, into different situations, and just feeling them out is something that is going to be beneficial for you for the rest of 2019 in your career. So if you want to try, for instance, setting up an online shop, maybe try and see how easily you can change your job in the job market. Just send out some applications. Just get one of those Wix or Shopify platforms and start creating a blog or an online shop, whatever it is that you want to do. Those are obviously just examples, but don't be afraid. Definitely consult in different ventures of the earthly realms, and also don't be shy to ask people for advice. And in the 11th house, I see hope. I see a lot of signs from the universe that are going to be guiding you, a lot of different situations where you feel like, wow, this cannot be a coincidence. There is a reason why the universe intervened in my life in order to not allow me to continue this path. There is a reason why the universe, stopped me from going down this road, or stopped me from becoming friends with this person, because the universe wanted to protect me. So keep your eyes open for signs from the universe, for signs when it comes to your career and what path you should be going down, and what path is ultimately just going to be destructive and really bad for you. So know that the universe is going to send a lot of signs during the rest of 2019 when it comes to your career, but you have to see them and take them seriously, because often we think, oh, it was just a coincidence, when really it was not a coincidence. Really, it was meant to be, and really it was the universe just sort of like nudging you, saying like, hey, you know what? Maybe try this instead of that. So last but not least, in the Libra, I see, there's energy here that seeks balance. There's energy here that is very much, trying to just get everything to work out. And that is great. Libra energy is energy that wants your work and your social life to be in balance, that is trying to make sure that you maintain, a living, you maintain a roof over your head, but at the same time, you don't completely give up on your dreams. If you're, for instance, working a job where you're 9 to 5, or if you have a business of your own that is right now, not financially providing the stability that you desire. So know that Libra energy will allow you to see things clearly. It will allow you to be real, to be a realist, which, sometimes is great, because aside from, confronting yourself about holding yourself back, or for instance, really tapping into your potential, it's also always good to balance things out, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be happy if you rush into something and you lose your main stream of revenue, or if you all of a sudden, go down a path even though the universe told you not to, but you didn't listen, and you just try to make it work even though it is not balanced, even though it is not where it is supposed to be, and it's not taking you where you're supposed to go. So know that the Libra energy that surrounds you is going to sort of protect you from that, is going to sort of help you with any of those difficulties in order to bring balance back into your life as well as your career, and that will in turn help you to get to success in a way that allows you to actually stay sane. So group number 4, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading.